All right, well, Sistas fans, even though season 8 has not been a stellar season, it to me it has had its moments. Not too many great ones, but in terms of the theme, obviously the biggest word that I feel is used to describe this season, even though I said biggest word, it is kind of short and sweet, but it encompasses the first 11 episodes. Pacing, just the fact that it's really slow. But I feel like obviously the main storyline is the Gary stuff, but I think season 8 could somewhat be a theme of wake up calls, because I was talking with a few fans over the weekend about this, and obviously I'm still getting dragged on Twitter for my thoughts regarding Fatima and her being potentially willing to keep Zach in jail for the sake of him learning his lesson. But we're not here to talk about Zatima. We are here to talk about Sistas. And I remember talking with somebody saying, the show comes back and I wonder how things are going to, work out, because we got Andy punching that guy in the face who's following her around the parking garage. And it's kind of funny because Fatima's training is paying off. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is like moments after she slapped Robin across the face, and she should have gotten fired on the spot, if you ask me. Even if it turns out, oh, well, Penelope got arrested, so Andy, you can come back to your job, or the true stabber is revealed, exonerating Andy. Regardless of all of that, she should get fired. And my thing is, when it comes to the wake-up calls to characters, didn't I just post a video about Karen's wake-up call is coming or something? About the theme of the reality check. Yeah, Karen will get a reality check when she realizes Zach won't take care of both of her babies. Yeah, something like that. I remember that was the title of the video. Something along those lines. And people have been saying, man, Fatima's been treated so rough this season, and Karen is getting, the easy way out. It's like she's really not learning anything. Yeah, she's quote unquote acting semi nicer to Fatima, but it's coming out of nowhere. And everybody else is like, karma's knocking on their door. I mean, I think when you look at both Fatima and Andy, their wake up calls have been coming in the form of work actually being work. And what I mean by that is their superiors are flexing their power in order to get them in line. I mean, even though Robin's place in the show and his demeanor has been suspect ever since he returned, we don't really know what his motivations are and whatnot. People were getting on him because he was telling Fatima to do her job. Private errands and, personal phone calls, those really won't fly when you're on the clock. When you're on your break, when or when you clock out, yeah, you can do whatever. But when you're at, the company, we need you to be working, because things were incredibly lenient when I was gone. But now that I'm back, I'm trying to get things, back on track. And not to mention, we're kind of short staffed right now, so we really need to get things together. And people felt mad about that. I'm like, well, I mean, go at your job. What do you expect? Like, whatever job you work at, an office, restaurant, or whatever, are you able to just walk out of the door and disappear for like 2 hours and just come back and, try to finish whatever work and then clock out and call it a day? No, that's not how it works. And when it comes to Andy, I just love the fact that she felt like, Robin, I'm going back to the office right now. I'm not taking your advice. I want to get my power back. And then he showed her, because him, along with the other partners, opted to extend her leave and take her out of running a being partner. Yeah, Andy, reality check. So then we go over to Sabrina, and I don't really think she's had that much of a personal, you could argue her professional reality check was Paige returning, because even though I didn't like her demeanor, I did like the acting because it felt real, since we all know a Paige at, a job we've had in the past, or even our current jobs. But it's the fact that Sabrina got her manager job back, and I felt like Maurice having a hand in sabotaging Paige really undermined Sabrina's backbone. You know, when Sabrina finally had a backbone, she spoke up for herself, and we all thought that was the main reason she got the position back. But instead, you know, Maurice had a hand in taking her rival out of the competition, and it kind of made it feel undeserved, if you ask me. I'd rather Sabrina had fully gotten the position back on her own without any sort of help from Maurice. But I think her potential wake-up call is if Rich gets the news, his soldiers won't allow him to help Sabrina create a baby. So the potential manipulation that she's been putting on him will backfire, where it's like, oh, I finally got my man to, you know, make a baby with me. But now it's like, oh, he actually can't do it. So now she might lose Rich because, you know, he might feel like a cuckold or something, or maybe even feel like Joseph when Mary said, I'm a virgin, but I'm pregnant. Huh? So it's like, I'm not cheating on you, Rich. I'm just pregnant by another man's sperm because you can't do it. So I wonder if, you know, Rich might actually break up with Sabrina either because he feels less of a man because he's not able to, you know, help fertilize the garden. So he and his woman could, you know, create something. Another man had to step up and do it. And then on top of that, he really didn't even want kids in the first place. So now that I finally stepped up and now I can't do it, I mean, I feel like it's going to fall apart. And then with Danny, her wake-up call, I feel like, you know, her tactics that she used on Preston, like, you know, the deflecting and all that, that's not going to fly with Tony because he isn't afraid to put her in her place. And she might wind up losing him, which to a lot of fans isn't really that much of a loss. But, you know, I feel like more fans are calling out Danny's behavior than Tony's this season because Tony is being supportive, but he does seem to cross boundaries sometimes, like signing her up for that program without her, you know, consulting her about it. And the fact that her unprofessional demeanor at work is getting backlash by other coworkers, you know, some of which like, I didn't make the leadership program and you're the biggest slacker in here and you made it. Oh, I get it. You mess around with the VP. I see what it is. So her, you know, professional wake-up call is happening. And, you know, with the panic attack, there's going to be a wake-up call in itself to, you know, certain vices and things she needs to change in her life. So when it comes to wake-up calls, yeah, Karen seems to be the only one. And I'm really only focusing on the women here. But yeah, Karen is the only one who seemingly hasn't had it yet. I mean, you could argue Miss Marie was giving her some, but maybe. I guess her wake-up call is realizing Fatima is going to be in her life more than just, you know, when it comes to the babies. Now it's on the professional side with the Roots to Riches case. But I don't know. I think her wake-up call, like I said, needs to be realizing Aaron and Zach are going to have their own thoughts and input when it comes to raising these kids. It's not just going to be what you want. Like, everybody's going to drop what they're doing and come over to your place and, you know, interact with the kids there. It's like, no, they might want to take one or both of their kids home or something like that. So it's not always going to be on you. So I really don't I don't know what the writers are planning to do with her wake-up call. Maybe the wake-up call will be Fatima's pregnancy announcement. I don't know, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I think that's my interpretation of what the theme for season 8 could be. We'll just have to wait and see if the back half picks up the pacing, but I'm not crossing my fingers. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.